Good night, everybody. My name is Juvenal, and I'm here to give you folks an update video in the metal side of things. I hope you're all having a great weekend here, and I want to get you guys set up ready for next week. We have a new trading week, and I want to give you my potential levels and things that I'm monitoring here. And it's been a long time since I did an update into gold. And at the time were studying a parallel. We went long around June-ish time frame. You can see here in the paper trading account, June 10th, we went long here, 4,119. We took a position on that, and then we sold into our major resistance level, 4,292. And then since then, I haven't really been touching. Quite frankly, I haven't been paying attention to gold because there hasn't been really any volatility, right? And as a short-term swing trader, as a day trader, I'm looking for volatility. Where is the volatility at? And it was mostly at the semiconductor trade and just the stock market in general, just looking to more into the stocks. But as long as there's a chart, anything you can chart, I'm interested in. As long as it has volatility, I'm looking into those charts. So right now we clearly had a nice pop in gold, and I've been just studying the chart. What is going on since last time? And I found a wedge pattern, right? So again, this is an update video. I'm sure there's other people that have found this before me, but I'm just going to read you the chart like a book. We're going to look into the levels here and what can we make off of it, right? So here we have our wedge pattern, the base of the wedge pattern where it starts here, connecting it from October 20th, right? For our former all-time high, and then I'm connecting it here where we had a massive bounce here. You can see a big tail here. Smart money was accumulating, buying at these low levels right here, March 23rd, and then I'm just connected to these recent lows over here, right? And then I'm connecting it from our full all-time high, former all-time high here at January 28th, and then I'm just connecting it over here from this area of June 17th. And the only reason why I'm connecting it from here is with the more touch points you have in the trend line, the more teeth, the more bite, the more grit it has to it. And it tells me that there's more credence. And you could see how price action kind of quote unquote respects the trend line, right? Because when you have price action that respects the trend line, you know it has grit. You know people looking to that level, right? So the more touch points you have in the trend line, the better it is. That's just technical analysis 101, right? So that's how I came up with the wedge pattern here. And then our major resistance level was basically our level from last time in our last video, where we could see how every time we touch this trend line over here, where we started over here, where you hit it, we got rejection, you closed above, you confirmed, you did close below it, but you hold it as support as you never had confirmation to the downside. And then we came back up here, you bounce off of it, you had a massive pierce, and then you had a bounce off of it, and then you can see bounce over here again, May 28th, and then you finally broke it, then you finally confirmed, you retraced, got rejection here, and now right now we're retracing to our major resistance level. So since when was the last time we held it as support? It was over here at June 5th, right? We closed below, we confirmed this is the first hit in our first rejection, and here's our second hit, and I do think we're probably going to get rejected here. Okay, so again, let's recap. We have the wedge pattern. I explained to you how I came up with that wedge pattern. I give you my major resistance level. That's from our last previous video. And if you're new here to the channel and Trading View, you can go watch those videos, and I go more specific into why I came up with that level. But I kind of already give you the reasoning behind that. Just look at the price action, right? Clear resistance, you conquer it, support. You break it, resistance. Or have we conquered it again? No, not yet, because we never had confirmation of the level right here. We close above, then you close back below, you close above. And what I look for confirmation, if you're following mine in the channel here, you know that a body close above the breakout high candle. This is the breakout candle. Here was the first one, but you close back below. It resets the confirmation signal. Here we close back above. This is the new breakout candle we base our confirmation signal off of. Then we close back inside below. So we never confirmed. We never had a subsequent body close above the breakout high. This candle here, we wanted to see it like this, where we had a clear body close above the breakout high, and that tells us that's confirmation. And then now the major resistance level should hold it as major support. It flips, but we never did that, right? So right now we back inside and are underneath the major resistance level. So it's still resistance until we get confirmation. So to me, I'm looking for a retrace here. I'm looking for a retrace from our former support level, 4,098.74. That's where I'm looking for. And that would be like the low from March 23rd over here. Here you had a minor consolidation. I'm not really paying too much attention here, and I'll give you folks why. Okay, so Again, I'm looking for a retrace here at this level 4098 to go long, and we might not get there. There's always a possibility we don't get there. I'm just looking. I'm telling you folks the levels I'm looking for. So right now we're into major resistance, and our indicators we're kind of getting close to overbought on the RSI, but we're not there at 70. There's always a good chance we can go up higher. There's always that. But I'm looking at the stochastic RSI as the stochastic RSI is rolling down, right? But we haven't confirmed a breakdown in the stochastic RSI. Both the blue and the orange have to go below the 80 to confirm. So if that's the case, it's not confirmed yet. So the blue says it's at 79, but the orange is still at 80, above 85, right? So as long as it's above 80, this could still consolidate theoretically, and they could still have a move higher, right? So again, and the RSI is not even at 70 yet, right? But I'm looking to see, does this start to form a bull flag? This is an immature, possibly possible bull flag, because here you have your up move, so that could be your pull, and we only have 1, 2, 3, 4 days of consolidation. For me, a proper bull flag, I need at least 7 or 8 sideways candles of consolidation, and they got to be tight consolidation. It can't be like gibberish where you're going up and down and crazy like this. You have, to me, that's not like a bull flag at all. You need to have tight consolidation, and if we get that in these couple days, then I would even just consider going along here with the starter position, not a full position, just a starter position. But and then I would look for these areas over here for resistance, right? Because the if you, let's say theoretically, if we do chop around here and we can, let's say we decide to go along here with the starter position, I would look for this area. See, look at this area over here, this area where you had these tails over here, and then here you had like a bump over here. So to me, this area, that would be like a 6-7% gain, but really I would be looking for this area right here around like 4,856, maybe a 10-11% gain. To me, that would make sense. So if you look from this body over here, so if I draw the trend line, you can see, look, you hit it, you bounce, you hit it, you bounce, you broke it, then you try to hold it, try to hold it here, then you break it, and you had like a little bump over here, you get rejected there, then you try to consolidate sideways on it, right? So I would call this level minor. So this level of let's call it minor. So here's a level, minor level 4,659.34, right? That would be minor. And then here I would consider this one major, right? 4,890. That one I would consider major because you can see how it's a clear hit, clear rejection off of that. And then here you try to hold the support and you had a big bounce off of it. Whenever you get big bounces or big rejections off our trend line, those are going to be the major ones, right? So I would put that one as major resistance right there, right? So this would be major. I'm going to put a major. So that's major resistance. Here's our minor resistance. And right now we're still into major resistance because we haven't confirmed yet. But these are my levels I'm watching, folks, as if we do get a move up. I would not look to short. I would just be watching it. Maybe a day trade short on this level at the minor support, minor resistance level, but just a day trade really. I wouldn't be looking to short it as a swing trade. Not especially since we broke out of a wedge pattern like this, right? And we actually have bullish divergence right here. We have bullish divergence where the RSI is making higher lows, right? So I could draw a trend line right here, higher lows right here, and while price action was making lower lows, right? So I did see that at one point before, but like I said before, there wasn't a lot of volatility, and specifically where it was at the time. Look at this. So these lows were at this area right here. We're assessing this little consolidation area over here and this area over here. Maybe we could draw a trend line over here to watch it. See, look, I'm gonna make this one. Let's make this one yellow, right? So let's make this one yellow so you can see it here. You broke it, you hit it, you got rejected, you bounce off of it, you confirmed, and you hold the support, then you had a bounce. But there's really not much data here, and there's not many touch points. It's only like 2 points, so that's why I would consider that area minor support. So when we took profits and we came down here, I was not looking to go long because there wasn't really anything else there. Right. So to me, risk reward doesn't make sense. If we lose this level right here, then we were looking to go over here at 3,448 at the time, because remember, we don't have these candlestick patterns. Like, imagine the chart was like this, right? We don't know what was ahead in the future. So if you're looking at it like this, and the sentiment was pretty bad, and to me, I'm like, this is minor support. I'm not gonna be looking to go along here unless it forms some sort of a pattern. And at the time, I didn't see the wedge pattern. I didn't see that wedge pattern. We had a parallel channel at the time. You can go watch that you guys can watch that previous video at the in our channel here. But I was like, nope. And it was just consolidating. I'm like, I'm just gonna stay on the sidelines. I'm gonna trade other things that have volatility, the semiconductors, everything was correcting at the time. And I was paying attention to those charts, right? You guys can clearly see those videos in the channel. So again, now as the charts are developing, I developed, and I saw the wedge pattern later on, and then I saw the bullish divergence. And I'm like, okay, so we had the bullish divergence, but what was the structure off of it? What was the pattern that made it break out, right? So I saw later the wedge pattern. We broke out. You can call this maybe like a small mini bullish consolidation, up move, sideways consolidation. Then you had a move up. So it kind of looks like a miniature bull flag. And I've had people before ask me before if this was the inverse head and shoulders. To me, I saw it, but I didn't really pay much attention to it because the left shoulder is lower than the head, right? And I personally count the tails in the wicks. I personally do that, right? But I know some people don't. They only pay attention to body closes. So if you looked at it in body closes, then no, it was a valid inverse head and shoulders. But if you're looking at it from tails and wicks, it wasn't because this price action was clearly lower than the head, right? But like I said, you can make a case for a miniature bull flag. You broke out, and then you had finally a confirmation. But really, the bigger pattern here is the wedge pattern, right? And you finally broke out. So here is your breakout candle high right here. So if we're going to be following from my rules, was the original breakout candle, and we needed to see a body close above the breakout candle high. We never got it here, never got it here, and then we finally got it here on August 5th. So we finally confirmed on August 5th, right? So if we're looking at it from our rules in the channel here, we finally confirmed here. We confirmed the breakout, but we quickly met back into major resistance, right? So am I looking to go long here, major resistance? No, we're into major resistance. There's no way I'm going to be go long at major resistance. Plus, I'm paying up. I'm not going to be paying up, right? I mean, I can't personally do that. Not with my rules. That would be chasing, and that's part of our rules. We don't chase. We wait for retraces. So to me, I'm going to be looking for a retrace for our support level of 4,098.74. That's where I'm going to be looking for. And there's a good chance we don't get there. And if we don't, it's okay. It's okay that people need. I can't stress enough. It kind of pisses me off too. Like people are so impatient. Like if you miss the trade, you missed the trade. It's okay. There's another trade around the corner. There's always something else to look for. There's always something to trade. There's always something to trade. So I don't think people should be front running or getting scared or having that FOMO that they're gonna miss out on the next run and the next leg in gold. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Like there's always going to be, at least I can only speak for myself, there's always another trade, right? So sorry to go off on a little tantrum there, but I mean it kind of, I think people need to know to not chase, right? So right now we're in resistance. I'm looking for a retrace right here, so let's make this green, right? So this is my level where I'm looking forward to go long here. But there always a chance that maybe we just get a retrace to this area right here, 4,172, maybe over here. And look at this. So maybe we could draw like a trend line here for connecting this high from July 6th and this high from July 22nd. Look at this right here. So maybe a retrace right here. So yeah, it coincides right here to our major support level. So if you look at it from like an inverse head and shoulder point, if this is the breakout and you get a retrace of the neckline, this would be the point right here. So I do think this support level is going to be the ticket if we do get a retrace where I would look to personally go long, right? So I'm going to put an alert there. I'm going to front run it a little bit. So I might front run it, maybe start with a 1% position here to go long. And if it does decide to even go lower, then I would look at this technical area where I would say it's double bottom, right? Right. 3,866.72. And at that point, if you break this, then you got to think we're going to go to like 3,445 because there's no support here, right? But since we already had a wedge pattern, bullish divergence on the RSI, my RSI isn't popping up, but I already showed you that before. where we had RSI, and that had bullish divergence. It's less likely that we do break down or revisit this double bottom, but there's always a chance. There's always a chance of that happening, right? You can always look back in cases where there's patterns that fail, right? So that's what I have for you folks in gold. We have, so let's summarize the pattern again. We have a wedge pattern. We had bullish divergence on the RSI where our price is making lower lows and RSI was making higher lows. We finally had a breakout candle with confirmation where we broke out here on July 22nd. We confirmed the breakout on August 5th. And right now we're into major resistance as our RSI is getting overbought, as RSI is at 65. So again, let me pull that up. Uh, let me get rid of this. We don't need this one. We can look at our stochastic RSI, and let's put up our indicator here, RSI. So RSI, let me do that for you folks. Let me quickly for you. Here it is, folks. I had to set it up for you folks. So here you can see we were making lower lows and RSI making higher lows. So we had a bullish divergence. You finally broke out. We're into major resistance. The stochastic RSI looks like it wants to roll over. As long as it's up here, it could go higher. But if it breaks below the 80 and the daily, I think we can get a retrace to our support trend line, and that would probably have the RSI cool down a little bit, come back down to the 50 area in the RSI, and then I would think that would be my long buying opportunity for then get a leg to go higher. But if there is a case where we go lower, I would look for double bottom. And if we break below that and confirm below that, then I do think we could go much lower in gold. But for now, it's looking like a reversal signal, right? So that's what I got for you for gold. So gold took a little longer than I expected, but let's jump into silver now that we have a little bit of time into silver. So silver, on the other hand, we still have that parallel that we had before last time. So, and I gave you folks this level where I was looking to buy physical silver, and I did pick up a little bit, but I didn't buy with both hands. I was expecting it to go down here a little bit deeper, but I only started a little bit. So I only picked up a little bit. I really wish I picked up more, but it is what it is. There's always a chance it could still go here in our buy zone. So it kissed our buy zone. I can't make this up. It kissed our buy zone by like a couple cents. So I started buying a little bit of silver myself because it to me, when it comes to premiums, it doesn't even matter because a lot of people aren't going to be like giving up too much wiggle room to negotiate for when you're buying physical, but that's a whole different story. Like you guys can watch YouTube videos and stuff like that about like physical silver, how to buy all that kind of stuff. I'm not gonna go into much detail like that, but to me, I mean, it just to make sense at least to me to start buying and just looking for good deals, right? But I only bought a little bit. It didn't really get into my buy zone, so I didn't pick up any ETF silver like SLV. I didn't pick any up because I was expecting it to go a little bit lower, and I actually had an order right there, and it just kissed me right there, and I was like, wow, I can't believe that. It just sucks. But we had the parallel here. You could see it was very similar to our last parallel with gold, but we have the parallel down here. Here's our buy zone. So this is still my area to buy, right? So if we do come to $48 and $54, this is the area for me to buy as it coincides with this parallel where I'm connecting it from our all-time high and I'm connecting it to these lows from February 6th and this low from, what is it, March 23rd. That's how I get this parallel channel. But right now, it passed through our area of minor resistance or slash minor support now because we flipped it. So this is a minor support right now. And I do think if it comes down here, maybe a swing trade, but not for me. Not for me. I would look for this for as like a possible day trading area, but for me, swing trading down here, if it comes back to these levels over here, which right now it's not looking likely, but if we do, then that's where I'm looking to go long here at silver. But watch right now, if we do have more upside in the metals, I'm looking this area right here at $70.86, maybe for potential day trade short, maybe just with the right signals, maybe a swing short here. But for me, not likely. I would really look for the swing short here at the middle part of the parallel, which would be $77.93. Look at this area consolidation here. Look at this where we pierce it right here. You can see right here. If I draw a trend line, it'll be much clearer. You can see, look, pivot here, pierce it here, hold the support here. So there's an area of confluence there. So to me, that would be the area for me for a potential short opportunity, swing short. But for me, nope. There's nothing really much to do here on silver. I'm not chasing. I'm not going to pay up here. I'm going to be waiting.